Morning, folks. Got a extra hour this weekend thanks to something I did hundreds of years ago to sell more gas. But I like the extra sunlight in the summertime. So, uh, y'all might have noticed something in the background other than every stupid thing that I have got in this place. Everything's functional. Yeah, like him. 1995 lights are still running. Yeah, LEDs. Yeah, 1200 ohm resistor. Uh, I was wanting to build an engine for one of my kids that we've been sitting on. He's been waiting on the money, but he just hard times and understand that you can't have everything. I've lost so much in my life. It is, we won't even talk about that when it comes to cars and, tools and, stuff like that. But anyway, I have another child. We have many. And this one is going to need his first vehicle. So, truck's been here forever. I pulled the engine out last year. Tore down my spare. Crank was shot in it. So, and this one's locked up too. But what's been in the background is a 3.0 V6, Vulcan V6 for a 2002 Ranger. That red Ranger's probably been in the background too. Well, uh, parents, me, and others, we are getting the money together to buy the parts for me to build the engine in this. And of course, me stick it in, me get it running, me tag it, and I'm sure everything's going to fall on us. And yes, I cleaned up my shop. Well, clean is in the eye of the beholder. Groovy lights. Still waiting on rings for that. But it stays clean, really. Small projects going on. And I keep the floor swept all the time. Something old boss man told me many, many years ago. Uh, but I had to Project CRX. It's outside. I'm waiting on a car cover for it because that is a tiny little car, and it stayed garage kept for since 2007 when it quit running. And I promised to my buddy and me that it would stay inside until I got it finished, but I don't have the room. I've tried everything. I'm old. I trip over everything. But anyway, getting back to what we're talking about here. This here, under that is the seized up 3.0. And give me a second, I'll get the Christmas bag from last year off of it. Ta-da. Well, when I'm done with it, it'll look new. But if you notice all the newness going on, somebody once told me, what happened was, well, why did I be yanked the intake off this thing? I'm trying to remember. I don't remember why we yanked the intake. Over a year ago, we yanked the intake off this thing. Me and one of the boys. And like the factory plugs. Wait a minute. No, that's rust. No, yeah, I'm about to say. I thought we put several sets of plugs in this. He's had it a long. In the family, we've had it a long time. But anyway, yanked the intake. We got this vehicle and had about 100,000 miles on it, and it's been through a couple of the kids. They well maintained this engine. I'd stay on top of them. They change oil and stuff like that. But what happened was, yanked the intake, probably intake leak. I cannot remember why we did it. Anyway, when you open it up, it was rough on the inside. I mean, it had built up. I mean, oil just flaking off, just chunks. Well, let's just say that warnings were not heeded. After we done it, I requested the oil to be changed immediately. Didn't happen, and it sat for a couple of weeks because it had a radiator leak, and I bought a new radiator, stuck it in it, got it running, warn them again to immediately change the oil. Because, folks, I'll help, but I'm not doing it for them. You know, I got this shop. I got all these tools. You know, I'm not doing stuff for people. They can come use my tools. They can come use my shop. But no, I'm not doing it for you. But anyway, he tried to get in there and try to clean all the sludge and everything that was in there, and I asked him not to. But anyway, it went down into the pan. Didn't heed my warnings about change the oil immediately, then drive it around the block, change it again. $100 is much cheaper than $1,000 minimum, because it's going to cost me about $700-800 just in parts, including the crank, because Dwayne Johnson can't even turn that thing over. It is seized up. But anyway, he got in it immediately and got about 15 miles, and then it come back on a hook, and you can't turn that crank. You guys have done it before, know how hard it is to get a torque converter off when you can't turn crank. So anyway, that's it's Project Ranger, and hopefully here in the next month or so, I'm going to be getting surgery done. So I'm going to try to have it tore down beginning of December, so we can go ahead and see if we can salvage the crank and get parts ordered, and see what we need to do to the block. But if I don't know how many of these I have tore down, and a lot of experience talking. I guarantee I've pulled over 100 sets of heads off these. And, you know, they just dress the head bolts. You can almost just throw a set of head gaskets on it and new head bolts, and boom, ready to go. But I've never in my life seen a wore out cylinder bore. I got a spare block right there in that bag. Right there. That was my spare engine. Bore still has that thing. Sorry about the camera movement. That come out of a 2002 Sable that I drove. Gave it to a child. They drove it, swapped vehicles. Went to my oldest boy who only knows how to drive thousands of miles a month. And as soon as that thing hit 200,000 miles, I forgot why I pulled it out and put another one in. It was because rod was knocking. I thought it lifted ahead, and at 200,000, I told him just go ahead and just put an engine in it. But anyway, you can see the cross hatches on that board. Brand new. And I expect it out of this one, because if not, hey, I could be proven wrong. I don't know everything, and I've not seen everything, but I'm pretty confident the block's going to be perfect. I can probably even get around using the same pistons, rings, everything, but I'm going to replace all the nominal stuff. Clean up the pistons. I'm sure it's probably, if the crank is seized, I'm sure it spun a bearing, and you know, got a rod hot, journal hot. We'll see when we get it apart. Y'all gonna be along for the ride when I go to tear that down. And that's just very, very few weeks away when I go to tear that one down. And so we can get parts ordered, and then everything's gonna be off the machine. We're gonna see when I get my surgery done. I gotta line that up, and as soon as I can get off the couch after the surgery, I'm gonna have the child that this is going to is gonna come over here and help me. Was going to help me tear it down, but I got to get it tear down immediately. It's probably going to be a time lapse when I do it, because we got to figure it out and get it parts sent. But the reassembly, slow go. I'm going to be teaching on that one. I'm teaching a child, and then the bigger boys are going to be coming over and stabbing it. So at some point. So I know I'm kind of long-winded on that. There's history behind pretty much everything that goes around this shop, because I used to do it for a living, and I've done a lot, but I don't feel like doing big stuff every day. And when you got replacement, both hips replaced, you know, 15 lower C vertebrae died on me. Moving around is a little harder nowadays, and I do need help for the big work. Took me 2 hours to, has no tires, don't have stuff on it. It took me 2 hours to get that thing moved out of the way, all the stuff moved, CRX out, and that put back right there, back under the cover, and everything tied up. 2 hours. That's like 10 minutes worth of work 20 years ago. So slow going at stuff, but I do need help, and I need I need my kids over here to help me. They're much bigger than me and much younger than me. Much younger than me. So yeah, y'all see this one come around. So you have a good day. Y'all get out there and do something. I can operate this box.